Welcome back to Animal Crossing New Horizons. I'm dear darling. I shall see what's going on our lovely island of Fawnhollow today on a very late episode of Animal Crossing. But you know, sometimes that just do be how the dice roll. That's not a phrase, is it? I don't really know. Anyway, what should we talk about today? I'm not really sure what to talk. Oh, you know what? Actually, there is something like. Well, I'm not really sure if it's going to carry a whole episode, but we'll see how it goes conversationally. I was actually going to talk about this yesterday, but then I talked about Steven Sausage Roll instead because, you know, I beat Steven Sausage Roll the day before that. So, you know, that's kind of the rules of the game. You got to talk about the most recent game you've beaten. Good evening, everyone. Right now in Fawnhallow, it's 11:14 p.m. on Tuesday, October 18th, 2022. How do I start this? So, you know, I'm browsing Reddit as per usual. Sometimes, you know, I venture off the beaten path on the subreddits I'm subscribed to, you know, and dare brave other subreddits to, you know, actually, you know, get, I suppose, entertainment value from rather than just, you know, subscribing to the video game subreddits of the games I play and then just getting news from them that way. Well, I shouldn't say news because, you know, video game news. Not sure you should really be getting all your news from Reddit, but yeah, anyway, that's not the point. The point is, I went on r/videos, which, if you don't know, is basically just a load of videos. I don't really know if there's any sort of theme of it or whatever. I think it's literally just anything from YouTube. So I guess it's just kind of YouTube, but you know, instead of like fighting the YouTube algorithm, you're fighting a Reddit algorithm, which is, you know, better and worse depending on what you're looking for, I suppose. I mean, YouTube, I guess it's mildly better for me because I'm not really that much of a fond of like the current YouTube algorithm promotions. You know, back in my day, it used to not severely. What's up with my word choice today? It used to strongly promote like let's plays and that sort of thing, and nowadays it much more promotes I'm not going to say clickbaity because I'm not sure they're necessarily clickbaity, but very sort of sensational and exaggerated sort of videos and thumbnails, which I don't really watch. But anyway, I was on r/videos, and then, you know, something caught my eye, one of the videos, because, you know, I don't watch all the videos on there. I watch like maybe like 1 in 20, so it's really, I like watch one video on that subreddit. I don't know why I'm giving so much backstory for this. I'm really trying to stretch out the story, but the point is, there was a video, I can't remember the title, it was something like, oh, the most heartwarming women in all of kids' cartoons or something, and I was like, well, you know, I like cartoons, and, you know, I guess it's a sort of an overlap of being like, I think kids' cartoons are very important because it's nice to be able to teach kids like valuable lessons, especially in a young age. And I feel like you could do it through an entertaining way because, you know, parents, you know, think about the parents who had to watch the cartoons of the kids. Might as well make it kind of entertaining so both parents and kids can watch it. I like, which will actually prove kind of relevant, I suppose. And, I forgot to Ultimate goes to sleep. It's so early at 11 p.m. And you might be like, if you've seen the video, you might be like, oh, okay, I know what it is. It's of a cartoon called Bluey, which, as I understand it, is an Australian kids cartoon, which I had heard of before, but basically knew nothing about. And it was basically a clip from Bluey, which kind of surprised me. And, you know, I guess we'll talk about that now. I don't know the full context of a clip, because it's only like a short clip from like an episode or something. It's like a 3-minute clip or something. But the gist I got from it was the fact about... in the episode was the mother, Bluey's mother, or I assume it's Bluey's mother, was worried about like the stress of raising a child and raising a baby. I don't know why it's called baby race necessarily, but there's some sort of baby race. I forgot what I was gonna say. Yeah, there was like I can't remember how the clip goes exactly, but like Bluey goes like, are you sad I lost the baby race? And then like there's like a flashback to the mother like not going to the playgroup and that sort of thing, and then like just like staying at home. And, you know, she's generally quite worried about something, and then there's like another mother from the playgroup like comes to visit her, and, you know, she was like, reveals that, oh yeah, she's had like 8 children before. She's had her fair share of experiences of raising children, and then she just like, you know, she says very comforting words, and then she just ends it all out. I'm gonna tell you something, but, you know, something, and then she just puts her hand on her shoulder and goes, "You're doing great." And, you know, you might be like sitting there being like, why on earth are you talking about this, dear darling? But to me personally, I'm not a mother, mind you, but certainly I would like to be in the future, but, you know, that's down the line. Let's not get too carried away. I was just like, wow, that's actually like such a sweet sort of message to like throw into a kids cartoon. And to loop it back to what I was saying just like 2 minutes ago, it's like kids cartoons, you know, people I think are very dismissive of kids cartoons. I suppose fairly reasonably for like an adult, you know. A lot of the time kids cartoons tend to be quite basic, I suppose, and a lot of time when you're an adult you tend to want things which more challenge norms, I suppose, rather than sort of not feed into them, but, you know, don't really push it all that far, push the envelope all that far, because kids cartoons in generally are quite safe, you know. And, you know, it's like I think I talked about this before, but like you can't subvert an expectation of someone who doesn't have the expectation in the first place, is probably how I describe it. So like, you know, a child, you know, you can't do things to subvert a child's expectation in a way that, you know, like showing an evil character who doesn't get redeemed or doesn't learn their lesson or anything like that, because then, you know, kids might learn the wrong lesson. And you might be like, kids are smarter than that. Kids are smarter than that, but also kids do, you know, learn pretty well from the things they see and they consume. Not like in a food way, but like in a media consumption way, I mean. So you have to be careful, I suppose. I'd imagine. I'm not a story writer at all, but you have to be careful about writing those sort of stories. That if especially if it's a story where a villain wins, and somehow, for some reason, you're pitching it towards kids, you've got to be careful exactly about how you portray it, right? Because you want the kids to actually be able to take away valuable information from it, because they're in development stages of their life. You know, they're learning from the things they see. You know, you want to instill good values into them. But because of that sort of reasoning behind kids' cartoons and that sort of thing, I feel like people. There seems to be sort of like not overarching attitude, but a kind of an attitude of being like that means that the kids' cartoon can't be like entertaining or can't be amusing. It has to just basically just be a very boring sort of preachy lesson, which, you know, I sort of, I don't know how you personally feel about it, but I sort of like resent that notion, being like, well, what? I sort of like makes you think like, oh, all lessons you ever learn in life had to be very preachy and had to be so like deliberately on the nose. Like, obviously they should be a bit more like not word choice, a bit more obvious, I suppose, to a child or whatever than necessarily an adult, like less room for subtlety. But so it doesn't mean it can't be like not entertaining, and it doesn't mean that kids are also dumb. Like, I think kids can extract a lot of morals and proper like lessons from a story without having it be exactly spelled out. You know what, I think I've mentioned about this before, because I haven't mentioned about it in context of Mighty Penny Friendship is Magic, where basically at the end of all the episodes, of the early episodes, they round off each of the episodes being like, Dear Princess Celestia, which is basically like one of the characters writing a letter about like the moral they learned. And I was like, that's a fairly neat way to actually do it, I think, because, you know, it's that way you can very sort of like hammer home the principles of whatever the episode was trying to talk about, you know, for the kids, and surmise it in a way that they definitely understand. So even if they missed the nuance, they would understand it from the ending thing, and it's not like particularly intrusive, and it kind of makes sense in the story of in the lore, I suppose, of that universe. Not that lore matters too much, I think, for kids shows, but maybe it should. Maybe it should. Maybe I shouldn't be so hypocritical of what I say for kids shows. But anyway, I was just like, wow, that is such like a poignant point for a kids cartoon, and unexpected, because that's not a message for the kid. Well, it might be a message for a kid, but isn't it kind of more a message for the parent, right? You know, I think it's pretty fairly well expected that the parent is probably going to watch a cartoon with a kid. I mean, I don't know that much about parenting, but I certainly feel like it's not great just to be like, hey kid, just watch this cartoon and we just leave him there. Sure, if you need to entertain them for like an hour or something, while you need to like do something and you don't need to, you can't be disturbed for it. But like if you're trying to have like bonding time with a child, surely you'd probably like partake in their recreational activities together. You know, you play with your kids and all that good stuff. So I don't know. I guess basically long and short of what I wanted to say was like, wow, that is like such a sweet moral, I suppose, to put into a kid's cartoon. And like I like to think that kids aren't that dumb. Obviously they've got a lot to learn, but I think the kids will pick up on the subtlety of like, you know, oh sorry, I didn't actually finish off to saying what happened in the thing. Yeah, so then she was like, oh yeah, you know, you're doing great. And then it's someone like, well, did Bluey ever learn to walk? And he was like, yes, she did. She like walked in the kitchen. It was like, the kitchen? Why are you walking in the kitchen? And this is like heartwarming flashback of Bluey learning to walk, and she's like reaching out for her mother and walking to her mother, and then we see it from Bluey's perspective, and we're just like a little voiceover line being like, maybe you saw something you liked. And I was like, aw, that's so sweet. That's just like, aw, that's like almost saccharine, isn't it? Like, that's almost too sweet for reality. So sort of like, you know, you look at it and be like, I need something jaded now to sort of wash that taste out of my mouth. But it's like, I don't know how to say it apart from that. I just watched it, and I don't know, maybe it's because I'm getting like older now, you know, and I'm thinking about, you know, you know, or what would it be like to be a parent, you know, and to have children and that sort of thing. You know, not everyone, of course, thinks about it at my age, but certainly, you know, I don't know, I'm conversing about this. I don't know what the average age of my audience is necessarily, but you might be like a teenager being like, why are you talking about this? Or you might be like a you know, middle-aged parent being like, I already have kids. But yeah, obviously I'm kind of at the age being like, oh, you know, and would I want children in the future? And the answer is yes, certainly. Like I think kids are sweet and they're so adorable, and you know, raising one is certainly something I would like to do. And you know, I don't know. I guess it's just sort of like I'm trying to imagine myself like 5 years ago, just like watching that, being like, I don't know why I'm watching this random kids cartoon, but for some reason I just watched that clip that was posted on r/videos that day. That day was like 2 days ago, and I was like, wow. I don't know. This feels like it. I'm not gonna say it hits hard because I'm sure it hits harder as a parent, but like, it just like I don't know. It sort of just like triggered something inside me where I was just like, wow, this feels like so poignant, even though it's just like, you know, I guess it's not like the deepest point in the world, being like, oh, you're doing, you know, you're doing your best to raise a child or that sort of thing. That's great, and you know, your child loves you. Is that the moral? I guess, but it's like, I don't know. It was just so sweet. It was just so sweet. Anyway, apparently from reading the comments, Bluey is like a really like well like received cartoon or something. Like, I mean, you think about kids cartoons nowadays, apparently Bluey's one of them. I don't know, but the quintessential like British one at least is Peppa Pig, which, you know, I don't really know much about Peppa Pig, but as I say, like basically the only stream I watch or YouTube I watched called Northern Line, he was well, it wasn't that recently a father. I think it was like a year ago, maybe 2 years ago, he was a father or something. And then he's obviously talking about his own anecdotes on raising a child and that sort of thing. And then he's like talking about Peppa Pig or whatever. And, you know, there's always like back and forths about Peppa Pig, whether it's like good or bad, you know, especially because how much like they constantly like mock or tease, perhaps is a better word, Daddy Pig in the cartoon. And it's sort of just like, you know, is that a good precedent to set children? I don't know. But the gist of what I got from reading from the comments is basically people are just like, Bluey's amazing. Bluey's like, you know, a fantastic like family role model or something. Or like Bluey is like something I actually sit down and watch with my kids. I ask my kids if we can watch Bluey or something like that. Obviously, I'm sure some of that's exaggerated and, you know. Yeah, would you as a parent, you know, I don't know, maybe as a parent, but would you as like an I don't know, whatever adult and be like, oh, you know, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to watch Bluey. I mean, maybe it might genuinely be that good. I have no clue. I mean, if you watch Bluey and you're just like, yeah, it's really that good, then maybe I'll watch it. As I add it to my list of things that I said I'm going to watch and then proceed never to watch. But I don't know. I mean, it's something that, like, if I had a kid, you know, and this is my first time discovering Bluey, I'd be like, I'll check out some more, you know, watch it with my child. Because I don't know, that has set a good precedent, you know, in my mind of Bluey, you know. It really is, first impressions matter quite a lot, you know. You know, that was a strong first clip to kick things off with Bluey. Because I thought Bluey was just another Peppa Pig, I'm going to be perfectly honest. I thought it was just like, you know, Peppa Pig, but it's like Blue, I don't know. I don't even know what they are, like foxes or something. But yeah, I don't know what else I was going to say about it. It was just adorable, you know. Makes you think about the future. Makes you think about, you know, the possibility of children or not, as the case may be. You know, you live your life. If you don't want children, by all means, don't have children. If you do, go for it. I don't know why I'm talking about this. Like, I feel like this is a weird conversation where it's like to such a small subset of people, you know. Or whatever, but, you know, I don't know, it's just something I've been thinking about, you know? Oh, what's the point of these Animal Crossing videos if it ain't something about, if it ain't the point about, wait, hold on, what? I can't speak. If I don't talk about things that I've been thinking about, you know? It's just been on my mind. Well, okay, that makes it sound like it was consuming my mind. It hasn't really been. It's just, like, something that, like, I ended up thinking about after watching, that little clip. Okay, so this is either Amelia or Vivian's. I don't know if the subtypes have different dialogue for lost items. That'd be really nice if we do, but they're both out and about. We've seen them walking about. I'm going to guess Amelia, but then, you know, we might find out it's Vivian's. Who knows? Oh, it's yours. I don't know what I was going to say. I don't know. Like, I'm trying to think what else I saw on Pat Fred. Like, they were talking about this episode about the mother being like a son or something. Not like the sun of the sky or something, like the warmth of the sun of the sky. I don't know. Apparently it's really good. Apparently it's got. Wait, hold on. This was another thing which shocked me, which I was like, wow, I didn't know Bluey was so like well renowned. Is apparently it's got like 1, crazy high ratings on IMDb, and 2, that episode they were talking about has 9.9, a 9.9 rating on IMDb. That's crazy difficult to get on IMDb because most of the time people just like vote randomly. If it, you know, it's a sad thing with like all these like user collated ratings. Is basically like a perfect score is not possible, because anytime, you know, something gets even close to a perfect score, you know, if you don't like it, you just like band together and be like, hey, I'm gonna vote this 1 star, and then suddenly, you know, it loses its rating because of, you know, crazy weighting, I suppose. But, you know, I read that and I was like, whoa, is that true? And I clicked on it and I was, yeah, it's legitimately true. It has 9.9 on IMDb, and I was like, what? That's crazy. I didn't actually look up the sample size, so maybe I should have looked at that. Hold on. Bluey IMDb. I'm not going to title this episode Blue. I was just thinking, it's like, should I title it Blue? But I haven't actually seen the episodes. You know? I've got to leave a possibility that I'm still doing this, you know, 10 years in the future, maybe when I have children, I finally watch Bluey, and I'm just like, you know, now we got to talk about Bluey. Yeah, we go. Sleepy time, that's it. Inside Bingo's dream, Bingo and Floppy have an intergalactic adventure. Like, you read that description, you're like, that just sounds like a normal kid show, but it has 9.9 rating. Okay, how many ratings does this have? 5.2k ratings. That is insanity. That's actual insanity. 5,000 ratings and it has a 9.9. How do I see like the highest rated things in IMDb? It's got to be like the highest rated TV episode or something, right? Most popular movies? Can I see like most popular TV shows? Most popular TV shows. Most popular TV show movies? House of a Dragon. This is the Game of Thrones one recently, wasn't it? Or a prequel one. I heard that was pretty good. Midnight Club? I don't know any of these. One. I like Watch Nothing. Dairy Girls is up here. I don't know. Dairy Girls was good. I thought people didn't like it, but never mind. Clearly I misread that. The Bear. I heard about The Bear. I don't know anything about this, but jump, 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 jump. Chainsaw Man, of course. That was quite recent one. I feel like these are like really recent things. Okay, maybe not everything. How do I see like IMDb highest rated TV episodes? TV episode rating count. Breaking Bad, Ozymandias has a 10. Okay, so literally only one thing in the entire of IMDb has a rating of 10, and it's Ozymandias from Breaking Bad. 183k ratings. Actually, that's strange. It's got a 9% 1-star rating. I guess people are just hating on it. Attack on Titan episode Hero. Attack on Titan episode Perfect Game. All of 9.9. Star Wars, Clone Wars, Mr. Robot, Game of Thrones, Hunter x Hunter. I don't know IMDb had anime on here. Actually, it turns out there's a lot of 9.9s. Well, I mean comparatively. But it's just, yeah, like, Bluey's here at number 17. Just like, all this anime, you know, and all that stuff, which I guess is probably quite zealous anime fans probably rating it quite highly, which is fair enough, you know, if they like their show. You know, certain fan bases are very, very zealous about these ratings and things. I mean, it's just like, Bluey, episode 17. A BoJack Horseman's here. View from halfway down, I've heard about this one. I heard a poem from it. I don't know, what the heck's Barry? My Hero Academia? Free Churro? We're on to 9.8. Violet Evergarden. I need to watch an anime. I heard it's so good. Well, okay, I haven't heard it's so good. I heard it's pretty good. But it sounds like my sort of thing. Sorry, I'm just like jumping from topic to topic. I'm just like, wow. Maybe I should, like, part of me is curious. Because, like, I am kind of interested in kids' cartoons. Like, it'd sort of be like, if I worked in animation for TV, I would work on kids' cartoons. Because I'm just like, it's such an important part of a kid's life, like being able to work on a kid's cartoon and be able to not properly teach lessons, but be able to teach important lessons, I suppose, to kids about opportunities. Like, I don't know, I feel like that's really important, isn't it? Maybe that's just me. I don't know. I'm surprised. Baby Race, that was the other one. It's 9.8. It doesn't have a 9.9. What if I mean, I don't have an IMDb account. I give it a 10 star rating despite never watching it. Hey, it's only got 4.7% one. It must be weighted by Actually, I'm not sure how it's weighted. How is it weighted? How very strange. Anyway, that was the clip from the episode I talked about. Maybe I should watch Sleepy Time, if anything. I don't know. Am I really going to go watch like a kid's cartoon? Maybe. I'm not above it. Quote the C.S. Lewis quote or whatever, being like, whatever. I used to, when I was young, I used to read fairy tales in secret. Now I'm older, I read them openly because, you know, the general gist of it is like, who cares? Do what you want. Yeah, I don't know. What am I going to title this episode? I'm not really sure. Kids cartoons, maybe? I know, I mean, you already know. But anyway, I'm going to round off this episode here because this needs to go up in about half an hour. But if you have been watching, thank you very much. It's been Animal Crossing New Horizons. I've been Dear Darling. Any likes, comments, subscription, shares are greatly appreciated. Join me, Dear Darling, Discord, follow me on Twitter down below. Hope we see each other again, but for now, it's our farewell. So until next time, bye-bye for now.